Hi, this is Julie. Have you ever wondered what holds the water in your residential water heater? Most residential water heaters have a tank. In the article, How Water Heaters Work, written by Marshall Brain and Sarah Elliott, they describe the tank as an inner shell made of heavy metal with a protective liner. These tanks can hold anywhere from 40 to 60 gallons of hot water. Later in the article, they describe tankless heaters. Although being more energy efficient, these tankless heaters can cost up to 3 times the amount of a tanked heater. Now, going back to the protective liner, according to the A.O. Smith History website, Ray Smith and a team of engineers were looking to create a process of fusing glass to steel. In 1936, this process was invented and quickly became the industry standard and is still used currently today. So now what I would like to do is take you through the process of creating a water heater tank. There are several different steps that takes place before the assembly begins. You can have electric tanks and you can have gas tanks. Electric tanks consist of spuds, clips, heads, shells, and bottoms. A glass tank is spuds, clips, heads, shells, bottoms, and flue pipe. So the process begins with a flat tank sheet. This tank sheet is loaded onto a machine which rolls the tank sheet into the diameter in which you're producing. At our facility, we can produce 14-inch up to 24-inch diameters. Okay, so from this process, after it rolls the shells, it goes through a welding process which welds the seam together. These shells are loaded onto the assembly line and the appropriate spuds are welded to the sides. If you're creating an electric tank, then you have 2 different sizes of spuds that are welded to the sides. A gas tank only uses 1 size of spud. As the shells progress down the line, they enter a flare machine which opens the shells up just a little bit. The heads are coming down a different conveyor unit. The heads are put into a head clipper where they get clipped and painted, and then they come on down to a head spudder. After they get spudded, they are loaded into the head pusher. And what the head pusher does is it pushes the heads in to the specification into the shell. From that process, then they move down to a head welder. And what the welder does is it welds the tank head and tank shell together. From this process, we go to a reinforcement booth, and what this does is a weld is laid down manually as a reinforcement on the end of the shell to attach to the head. From this process, it goes into the enamel department. Wet enamel is sprayed onto the head and shell assembly. They are hung by the tank hangers, and they go through the furnace anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes. Now, if you are producing a gas unit, flue pipe is washed, taken over to the flue to base welders, and once those assemblies are created, they also get sprayed and go through the furnace as well. So as the assemblies are coming off out of the furnace onto our hot line, as we call it, if you're creating or producing an electric tank, the shell assemblies are loaded directly onto the line, and the bottoms are manually put into the bottom pusher. As the shells are loaded onto the line, then you have an operator that pushes the bottoms into the specified parameters. From there, they go to the bottom welders, and the bottoms and the shell assemblies are welded together. Now, if you're producing a gas tank, The flue pipe assemblies come off of the hot line along with the head and shell assemblies, and they are assembled as they come off the hot line and fed onto the line. And then it's an automatic process at the bottom pusher from there. They as well get a bottom weld. In addition to the bottom weld, gas tanks are welded at the flue to head. So that's an additional process for a gas tank. Whether you're an electric or a gas, after the welds are complete, then they go through an air test station. So air is applied, and also they are water tested through a test tub. So what this does, this checks all the welds that had been applied from the beginning of the process to the end of the process. If we do have some failures, we do have a repair welder that repairs the welds, and we retest. From there, the finished tanks are loaded onto skids and put out into our tank yard for the assembly department to pick up, and that's where they complete the water heater units. Popular Mechanics, I have a really good illustration. They have a cross section, and this is an electric unit. This shows you the inner tank. This is where the spuds I was talking about. These are actually element spuds, so that's a different spud size. This is a gas unit, and as you see the flue pipe assembly inside, and the flue comes out. They both have hot water, cold drain valves here, T&P spuds. So this is the assembled with a cross section of the tank. Really good illustration. In conclusion, that's a quick overview of the process of building a water heater tank, and I hope you have enjoyed this.